The morning sky over Washington, D.C. was clear and blue when the alien ships appeared. They didn't arrive with the dramatic flair of invasion movies. There were no thunderous sounds or city-sized shadows. Instead, 5 sleek vessels, each about the size of a passenger plane, glided silently through the air and landed on the National Mall. Commander James Walker stood at attention, his blue uniform crisp despite the summer heat. Around him, a mix of military personnel and government officials waited with barely hidden tension. This was humanity's first contact with alien life, and no one knew what to expect. The lead ship's door opened with a soft hiss. Out stepped creatures that looked almost like tall deer walking on 2 legs. They had smooth brown fur, large eyes, and moved with natural grace. The tallest one wore what appeared to be a uniform decorated with silvery symbols. "We come seeking help," the tall alien said in perfect English, using a small device that hung from its neck. "We are the Federation of Free Worlds, and we face extinction." Walker's training kicked in. As Earth's Defense Force commander, he was chosen to be humanity's first representative. "I am Commander Walker. We are willing to listen." The aliens introduced themselves as the Arden people. Their leader was named First Speaker Bell, choosing a simple Earth name for easier communication. As they talked, Bell explained their desperate situation. "A hostile force controls most of our galaxy," Bell said, his large eyes showing clear worry. "They use advanced energy weapons that no species can resist. Whole planets fall in days. We found Earth by accident while running from them. And we noticed something strange." Walker listened carefully as Bell continued. "Our scans showed your cities are filled with energy signatures that should be deadly. Your communication devices, your power systems, they release radiation that would kill our people. But you live with it perfectly well." The alien reached for a small cylinder on its belt. Several human soldiers tensed, but Bell moved slowly and carefully. "This is a simple energy pulse tool. May I demonstrate?" After getting approval, Bell pointed the device at a dead tree branch nearby. A soft blue light pulsed, and the branch turned to ash instantly. Then, with permission, he pointed it at a concrete block. The block melted like ice in summer. "Now," Bell said, "with your permission, I would like to test it on a human volunteer, at its lowest setting." The room grew quiet. Walker stepped forward. "I volunteer." His second-in-command tried to stop him, but Walker stood firm. "If they wanted to harm us, they could have done it already." Bell pointed the device at Walker's outstretched hand and activated it. The blue light washed over his skin. Walker felt a slight warmth, like standing in sunlight, but nothing else. The aliens gasped collectively. "Impossible," Bell whispered. "Even at low power, this should cause intense pain to any living thing. We've tested it on thousands of species. You truly are immune." The next few hours were filled with careful tests and discussions. Earth scientists confirmed what the aliens discovered. Something about human biology, evolved over millions of years on a planet with unique radiation levels, made them naturally resistant to energy-based weapons. "The enemy approaches your solar system," Bell explained gravely. "They follow us everywhere. But now, for the first time in centuries, we have hope. Your people might be the key to freedom." Walker looked at the gathered human leaders, seeing the weight of the moment in their eyes. Humanity had just stepped onto a much larger stage. They weren't just making first contact. They were being asked to help fight a war that spanned the galaxy. "We need time to discuss this," Walker said carefully. "But know that Earth doesn't ignore calls for help." As the sun set over DC, casting long shadows across the alien ships, humanity faced its biggest decision yet. The aliens who arrived desperate for aid had given Earth something unexpected. Proof that humans were special in the galaxy, not because they were stronger or smarter, but because their very nature made them unique. The war for the galaxy was about to change forever, and humanity would be right at the center of it. 3 days after the aliens arrived, Dr. Mark West stood in his lab at the Global Research Center, staring at test results that seemed impossible. On the screen in front of him, two DNA patterns moved side by side, one human, one alien. But it was what these patterns showed that amazed everyone in the room. "Look at this," he said to the alien scientist, Blue, who stood next to him. Blue looked like the other insect-like aliens, but wore a white lab coat over his blue shell. "Human DNA has something I've never seen before." Blue moved closer to the screen, his antenna twitching with interest. "Yes, this is extraordinary. Your DNA has adapted to radiation in a way we thought impossible." The tests had started right after the first battle at Moonbase. The aliens wanted to understand why their weapons couldn't hurt humans. They'd brought their best scientists, including Blue, to work with Earth's top researchers. Mark pointed to a particular part of the human DNA. "Our ancestors lived through something amazing. About 100,000 years ago, Earth went through a period of unusual radiation. Instead of dying, humans adapted. Our DNA learned to absorb energy and use it." To prove his point, Mark walked over to a testing chamber. Inside was a piece of metal and a small plant. Blue picked up one of their energy weapons and fired at both. The metal melted instantly, and the plant turned to ash. "Now watch this," Mark said. He put his hand in the chamber. "Go ahead, fire." Blue hesitated but then fired the weapon. The purple beam hit Mark's hand. Everyone watched as his skin glowed slightly, but he remained completely unharmed. "Amazing," Blue exclaimed. "Your cells don't just resist the energy. They absorb it. But what happens to the absorbed energy?" Mark smiled and walked over to a special camera that could see heat and energy. "Look at this recording of what happens when you shoot me." The video showed the energy from the weapon spreading through Mark's body, then simply disappearing. Our bodies learn to convert this energy into something harmless. It's like having a built-in shield. Just then, another scientist rushed into the lab. "Dr. West, you need to see this." She handed him a tablet showing new test results. Mark's eyes widened as he read. "This is incredible. According to these tests, the more energy weapons hit us, the better our bodies get at handling the energy. We don't just resist it, we adapt to it. Each hit makes us even more immune." Blue made a clicking sound that his translator didn't catch. "This changes everything. The enemy's most powerful weapons would just make us stronger," Mark finished. "No wonder they've never seen anything like us. Earth is the only planet we know of that went through that specific kind of radiation exposure and had life survive it." The implications were huge. Humans weren't just immune to energy weapons, they were getting better at handling them with each exposure. It was like a muscle getting stronger with exercise. Suddenly, alarms started blaring throughout the facility. Everyone rushed to the windows. In the sky, they could see flashes of light. The enemy ships had arrived, just as they had at Moonbase. "They're attacking the research center," someone shouted. But Mark smiled. "No," he said, watching as more aliens transported into the facility. "They're not attacking. They're running." He was right. The new aliens looked different. They had gray skin and wore black armor. But they weren't firing weapons. They were surrendering. "Please," their leader said through a translator. "The others are coming. The ones who enslaved us, gave us these weapons, and forced us to conquer in their name. They're coming back, and their weapons are 1,000 times stronger than ours." Mark and Blue looked at each other. The truth was finally coming out. This wasn't just about immune humans anymore. It was about something much bigger. And humanity's unique ability might be the key to freeing the entire galaxy. In the Arizona desert, Captain John Smith watched as 1,000 human soldiers lined up for their first day of space combat training. The morning sun was hot, but nobody complained. They all knew what was at stake. "Today, we learn to fight in space," John announced to the troops. Next to him stood General Green, a tall alien with 6 legs who looked like a praying mantis in armor. Our alien allies will teach us how to use their ships and technology. Green stepped forward. Your immunity to energy weapons makes you the perfect warriors. But first, you must learn how our enemy fights. The training area was massive. Alien ships of different sizes stood ready for practice. Special buildings were set up to simulate space stations. Everything humanity needed to learn about space warfare was here. First lesson, Green said, holding up an energy rifle. Watch what happens when we fight normally. He pointed to a group of his soldiers. The alien soldiers demonstrated space combat. Their energy weapons turned the practice targets into liquid. They moved fast, using jump packs to fly short distances. Their armor could stop most attacks. Now, Green turned to the human soldiers. Your turn. John stepped into the practice area first. Green's soldiers fired their weapons at him. Purple and blue beams hit him from all sides. There was a warm feeling, but no pain. John walked through the energy blasts like they were nothing but lights at a disco. Perfect. Green clicked his mandibles in excitement. But the real advantage is what comes next. Humans, pick up the fallen practice weapons. The soldiers did as told. To everyone's surprise, they could hold and fire the alien weapons easily. The energy rifles worked perfectly in human hands. This is what makes you special, Green explained. Not only are you immune to energy weapons, but you can also use them. No other species can do both. The enemy's weapons can't hurt you, but your weapons can hurt them. The next few hours were amazing. The human soldiers learned to use jump packs, flying short distances like the aliens. They practiced with different weapons, from small pistols to large cannons. Everything worked better than expected. Then came the biggest test. Green brought out what looked like a metal suit. This is our most advanced battle armor. No other species except yours can use it safely. John put on the suit. It was surprisingly light and moved like a second skin. When he activated it, energy coursed through the metal. Any other species would have been killed instantly, but for him, it felt natural. The suit uses the same energy that our weapons do, Green explained. It makes you stronger, faster, and lets you fly. For us, it's too dangerous to use. For you, it's perfect. Suddenly, alarms started ringing. Everyone looked up at the sky. A ship was entering Earth's atmosphere, but it wasn't one of theirs. Enemy scout ship, Green said quickly. This is not a drill anymore. Without hesitation, John activated his new armor. Other soldiers followed his lead. They had only trained for a few hours, but it would have to be enough. The enemy ship fired its main weapon. A massive energy beam, bigger than anything they'd seen before, hit the training ground. The alien instructors had to take cover, but the human soldiers stood their ground. The beam washed over them harmlessly. John fired back with his energy rifle. The shot hit the ship's engine. More soldiers fired, and soon the scout ship crashed into the desert. Incredible, Green said, emerging from his shelter. One day of training, and you've already defeated an enemy ship. Now you understand why we need your help. John looked at his fellow soldiers, all standing tall in their energy armor, weapons ready. In just one day, they had gone from regular Earth soldiers to humanity's first space combat unit. The real war hadn't even started yet, but today proved something important. Humans weren't just immune to the enemy's weapons. They were ready to use that immunity to defend Earth and their new allies. The massive human battleship, Earth's Hope, floated in space near Jupiter. Captain Bill Adams stood on the bridge, watching as his crew worked at their stations. Only 2 weeks had passed since their training, but everyone moved with confidence. Enemy fleet detected, shouted Mike, the radar operator. 50 ships coming out of light speed. Bill straightened his uniform. This would be humanity's first real space battle. Around Earth's Hope, 20 other human ships took position. Each one carried 500 soldiers in energy armor, ready for combat. Remember your training, Bill said over the ship-wide communication system. They can't hurt us with their weapons. We have the advantage. The enemy ships appeared. Black, sharp-looking vessels that seemed built for war. Their leader sent a message to all ships: "Surrender now. Your human tricks won't save you." Bill smiled and pressed the reply button. "This is Captain Adams of Earth. We don't surrender. In fact, we invite you to give us your best shot." The enemy responded with a full attack. Thousands of energy beams lit up space like a light show. Every enemy weapon fired at once, hitting the human ships directly. Nothing happened. The human ships' hulls were made using a new technology, a mix of Earth metals and human DNA patterns. Just like human skin, they absorbed the energy attacks harmlessly. "Our turn," Bill said calmly. "All ships, attack pattern 1." The human fleet moved as one. They had trained for this. Their ships released pods, hundreds of them. Inside each pod were 5 human soldiers in energy armor. The enemy didn't understand what was happening until it was too late. The pods hit their ships, and the human soldiers broke in through the hulls. Energy weapons couldn't stop them. The battle turned into close combat, and humans had another advantage. They were naturally stronger than their enemies. "Team leaders, report," Bill called over the radio. "Enemy bridge captured on Ship 1. Engine room secured on Ship 2. They're surrendering on Ships 3 through 7. The battle was going perfectly. Then something changed. A new ship appeared, bigger than all the others. It glowed with purple energy. "This is High Commander Purple," a voice boomed across all channels. "You dare to resist? Then face our ultimate weapon." The massive ship fired a beam of energy so powerful it looked like a small sun. It hit Earth's hope directly. For a moment, everything went quiet. The enemy waited to see their ultimate weapon's effect. Instead of destruction, they saw something amazing. Earth's Hope's hull was glowing, but not with damage. The ship had absorbed so much energy it was now shining like a star. "Engineering, report," Bill called. "Sir, power levels are off the charts." The engineer replied excitedly. "The enemy weapon, it just gave us more power than our reactors could make in a year." Bill grinned. "Then let's use it. All power to our new main weapon." Earth's Hope's front opened like a flower. The ship's scientists had designed a special weapon, one that could use the same energy the enemy fired at them. Now it was fully charged. Fire. A beam of pure white energy shot from Earth's Hope. It hit the enemy's main ship, cutting it in half like paper. The remaining enemy ships started surrendering immediately. When the battle ended, Bill looked at the numbers. 20 human ships had defeated 50 enemy vessels. Not a single human was hurt. The enemy's strongest weapon had only made them stronger. "Captain," Mike called from his station. "The prisoners are talking. They say this fleet was just a test. The real enemy, the ones who gave them these weapons, they're coming with an army bigger than anything we've seen." Bill nodded. This battle was just the beginning. But now everyone in the galaxy knew something important. Humans weren't just immune to energy weapons anymore. They had learned to use that energy to turn the enemy's power against them. The next battle would be bigger. But humanity was ready. The celebration on Earth lasted exactly 2 days after their first victory. On the 3rd day, everything changed. Dr. Lisa Brown rushed into the emergency meeting at the United Earth Defense Center. Military leaders from Earth and their alien allies sat around a large table, faces grim. On the main screen, images showed something terrifying. Green clouds spreading through alien cities. "They're using biological weapons now," Lisa explained, pointing to the screen. "The enemy realized their energy weapons don't work against us, so they've changed tactics." General Red, their insect-like ally, clicked his mandibles nervously. "These clouds kill within hours. 3 of our colony worlds are already lost." Lisa took a deep breath before continuing. "They think this will stop us. They're wrong." She pressed a button, and new images appeared on the screen. These showed human soldiers walking through the green clouds completely fine. "Impossible," several alien leaders said at once. Not impossible. Lisa smiled. Remember how our DNA adapted to energy weapons? Well, it seems those same changes made us immune to their biological weapons too. Our bodies treat the poison like another form of energy and simply absorb it. The room erupted in excited discussion. This was huge news. The enemy's new weapon had failed just like their old ones. But Lisa wasn't finished. "There's more," she said, making everyone quiet down. "We found something interesting when we studied how our bodies handle the poison clouds." She showed new images, these of human blood samples. "Not only are we immune, but our blood can cure others who are infected. We can save the worlds they've attacked." The alien leaders looked at each other in amazement. Humans weren't just warriors anymore. They were the key to saving countless lives. Plans moved quickly after that. Within hours, human medical ships were heading to the affected planets. They carried special filters made from human blood samples that could clean the poison from the air. Human doctors worked with alien medical teams to cure the sick. But the enemy wasn't done yet. As Lisa worked in her lab on the main medical ship, alarms started blaring. "Dr. Brown," a young assistant ran in. "The enemy is broadcasting on all channels. You need to see this." The message came from a new enemy leader. This one looked different. Tall, gray-skinned, with glowing purple eyes. "So the humans can resist our poisons too," the alien said. "But can they resist this?" The screen showed a new weapon being fired at an empty planet. Instead of energy beams or poison clouds, this one shot black rays that seemed to eat everything they touched. The test planet started breaking apart at the atomic level. "Matter dissolvers," the alien announced. "They don't use energy or poison. They simply make things stop existing. You have 1 day to surrender, or we use these on inhabited worlds." Lisa watched the message end. But she wasn't scared. She was thinking. "Get me the test results from the planet they just destroyed," she ordered. "And contact Earth. I need more human DNA samples." 20 hours later, Lisa stood in front of the leaders again. She looked tired but happy. "The matter dissolvers," she explained. "They work by using a special type of energy to break atomic bonds. And what are humans really good at handling? Energy." Several people said at once. "Exactly. Our bodies don't just absorb energy. They can prevent atomic bonds from breaking. We're immune to these weapons too." The alien leaders cheered, but Lisa raised her hand for quiet. "There's one more thing. These new weapons, they proved something I suspected. The enemy isn't using different weapons at all. Energy beams, poison clouds, matter dissolvers, they're all just different forms of the same basic technology. And humans, we're immune to all of it." As the meeting ended, everyone knew the war had changed again. The enemy had shown their best weapons, and humans had survived them all. Now it was time to take the fight to them. The final battle was coming. The largest fleet ever gathered in Earth's history jumped out of light speed near the enemy's home system. 500 human ships, each carrying thousands of soldiers, prepared for what everyone thought would be the final battle. But something was wrong. The enemy's planets were empty. Major Frank Davis stood on his ship's bridge, staring at the scan results. "No life signs," he reported. "Their cities are abandoned. No ships in orbit. Nothing." Then they found the message, playing on repeat from every city on every planet. "Come to the coordinates below if you want to know the truth." Frank looked at his second-in-command, Jane. "It's probably a trap." "Probably," she agreed. "But we're immune to their weapons. What can they do to us?" The coordinates led to a space station hidden behind the system's largest moon. It was massive, bigger than any station they'd seen before, but like the planets, it seemed empty. As Frank's team boarded the station, they found no resistance, just empty halls and more messages leading them deeper inside. Finally, they reached a huge round room. In the center stood a single alien. It wasn't like the enemies they'd fought. This one was tall, almost human-shaped, but with gray skin that seemed to glow. It raised its hands to show it had no weapons. "Welcome, humans," it said. "I am the last keeper. We've been waiting a very long time for you." Frank kept his weapon ready. "What do you mean?" The keeper pressed a button, and the room's walls became screens showing images of space, stars, and strange machines. "This is the truth you came for. We are not your enemies. We are your creators." Everyone in the room went silent. The keeper continued. "A million years ago, my people ruled this galaxy. We had the most powerful weapons ever made. But we became afraid. Afraid someone would find a way to beat us. So we started an experiment. The screen showed a familiar planet, Earth. We chose your world to create a species that could resist our weapons. We changed the radiation levels on your planet, watched as life adapted, watched as humans evolved. You are immune to our weapons because we designed you to be." Frank's mind raced. The war, the attacks, everything was a test. "Yes," the keeper nodded. "We needed to be sure you were ready. Every weapon we used, every battle we fought, it was all to prepare you." "Prepare us for what?" Jane asked. The keeper's expression turned grim. "Something is coming. Something from outside our galaxy. We detected them long ago. Beings with weapons that make ours look like toys. They've destroyed every galaxy they visited. That's why we created you. Humans are our last hope." The screens changed to show massive objects approaching the Milky Way. They were bigger than planets, darker than space itself. "Our time is over," the keeper said. "My people uploaded their minds to machines long ago. I am the last living one. We waited only to make sure you were ready. Now we know you are." Frank lowered his weapon. "How long do we have?" 5 years, maybe less, but we're giving you everything. Our technology, our knowledge, our remaining ships and stations. Everything we built over millions of years is yours now." The keeper walked to Frank and handed him a small crystal. "This contains all our secrets. Use them well. The galaxy is yours to protect now." Suddenly, the keeper started to fade away, becoming transparent. "My time is done. Remember, you were created for this moment. Humans aren't just immune to our weapons. You're immune to any weapon based on energy or matter manipulation. You are the ultimate defense." With those words, the keeper vanished completely. Frank looked at the crystal in his hand, then at his team. They had come expecting a final battle. Instead, they found a beginning. "Send a message to Earth," he ordered. Tell them we have work to do. A lot of work." The truth about humans wasn't that they were special by accident. They were special by design. And now they had 5 years to prepare for the biggest fight in galaxy's history. 5 years passed like 5 minutes. Earth and its allies worked nonstop, building defenses, learning the ancient technology, preparing for what was coming. Now, the day had arrived. Admiral Peter Wilson stood on the bridge of humanity's new flagship, Guardian. The ship was massive, built using knowledge from the Keeper's crystal. Around it, the largest fleet ever assembled waited, 100,000 ships crewed by humans and their alien allies. "They're here," Peter's sensor officer announced. On the main screen, dark shapes appeared at the edge of the galaxy. The invaders had arrived. Their ships were the size of moons, black as space itself, moving like living things. "All ships, battle positions," Peter ordered. "Remember the plan. Remember what we're fighting for." The invaders' first attack came without warning. Strange weapons fired. Not energy beams or matter dissolvers, but something new. Wherever their weapons hit, reality itself seemed to tear apart. But when they hit the human ships, nothing happened. Just as the Keeper said, Peter smiled. "Their weapons can't hurt us either." The Guardian led the charge. Human ships moved forward, protected by their special hulls. Behind them, alien allies provided support, protected by shields made with human DNA patterns. The invaders tried everything. They fired weapons that bent time, Weapons that created black holes, weapons that should have erased whole fleets from existence. Nothing worked against the human ships. Then came the next phase of the plan. Launch boarding teams. Peter commanded. Millions of human soldiers in advanced battle suits flew from their ships. The suits were special, built using both the Keeper's technology and human biology. They let humans fly through space without ships, protected from everything. The invaders hadn't expected this. They had conquered galaxies using their unstoppable weapons, but now they faced an enemy their weapons couldn't touch. Human soldiers landed on the massive invader ships. They fought their way inside, facing strange alien creatures twice their size. But humans had trained for this. They had the Keeper's weapons, powered by their own energy-absorbing bodies. First invader ship captured, came the report. Then another and another. The battle raged for hours. The invaders kept trying new weapons, but nothing could stop the humans. Every energy weapon made them stronger. Every reality-bending attack washed over them harmlessly. Finally, the invaders' main ship sent a message. Their leader, a being of pure energy, appeared on screen. How? It asked simply. We've destroyed 1,000 galaxies. Our weapons break the laws of physics. Nothing can resist us. Peter stood tall. We were made for this, he replied. Created by those who came before, evolved by our planet, tested by our trials. We're not just another species. We're the galaxy's immune system. The invader was quiet for a long moment. We surrender, it said finally. The war ended not with a massive explosion, but with a simple message. The invaders retreated, leaving the galaxy forever. They had finally found something they couldn't beat. Weeks later, Peter stood in front of the United Galaxy Council, humans and aliens together. He read from the final battle report. Total human casualties, 0. The immune system of the galaxy worked perfectly. The council chamber erupted in cheers. Humans had done what they were created to do, protect the galaxy. But they had done more than that. In the 5 years of preparation, humans had shared their immunity with their allies, teaching them to use human DNA to protect themselves. They hadn't just fought the invaders, they had made the whole galaxy stronger. What now? Someone asked Peter after the meeting. He looked out at the stars through the council chamber's window. Now we do what humans do best. We explore, we learn, we grow. And if anything threatens our galaxy again. He smiled, leaving the sentence unfinished. Everyone knew the truth now. As long as humans existed, the galaxy had an immune system that nothing could break. The story of humans being unaffected by alien weapons had ended. The story of humans as guardians of the galaxy was just beginning.